Somaliland, a land on the Horn of Africa with its own government, currency, army, and a vibrant democracy. Yet for over 3 decades, it has existed in a strange limbo. After breaking away from Somalia in 1991, Somaliland built its own political system, held regular elections, and maintained peace and stability, a stark contrast to the turmoil in neighboring Somalia. Its people are proud, hopeful, and determined to chart their own future. But despite all this, Somaliland remains unrecognized by the world. Now, a dramatic twist. Former U.S. President Donald Trump has made headlines with a bold proposal that could finally give Somaliland the recognition it has been waiting for. But with Ethiopia's recent moves in the region, will this be the breakthrough Somaliland has dreamed of, or will new complications arise? Let's break it down. In a move that caught many by surprise, Donald Trump announced that the United States is seriously considering officially recognizing Somaliland as an independent nation. This proposal, however, comes with a unique arrangement. Trump suggested that in return for U.S. recognition, Somaliland would agree to host displaced Palestinians from Gaza, providing them with a safe haven far from the conflict. In addition, Somaliland would grant the U.S. strategic access to the port of Berbera, a deep water port on the Gulf of Aden. This port is not just any harbor, it's a vital gateway for global trade, connecting the Red Sea to the Indian Ocean. The port of Berbera's location is especially significant. It sits right on the Gulf of Aden, one of the busiest and most important shipping lanes in the world. Every year, billions of dollars worth of goods pass through these waters, making it a critical point for international commerce and security. For the United States, gaining access to Berbera would mean a stronger military and trade presence in the Horn of Africa. It would allow the U.S. to monitor shipping routes, respond quickly to regional crises, and counter the influence of rival powers like China and Russia. For Somaliland, this deal could be transformative. Recognition by the U.S. would legitimize its independence, opening doors to international aid, investment, and diplomatic relations that have been out of reach since it declared independence in 1991. For the people of Somaliland, it could finally mean the recognition and respect they have sought for decades, while also playing a key role in a major international agreement. The United Kingdom has a long historical connection to Somaliland, having once governed the territory as a protectorate before its independence in 1960. Recently, a cross-party group of British parliamentarians released a report urging the UK government to consider recognizing Somaliland as an independent state. Their argument centers on Somaliland's impressive record of stability, regular democratic elections, and peaceful transfers of power, qualities that are rare in the Horn of Africa. The group also points out that Somaliland has maintained internal peace and built functioning institutions, despite lacking international recognition. However, the UK government remains cautious. Officials are hesitant to act unilaterally, fearing it could strain relations with Somalia, disrupt regional stability, or set a precedent for other separatist movements. Instead, the UK is closely monitoring the international response, especially from major allies. With the United States now considering its own approach, British officials are waiting to see if Washington will take the lead, knowing that a coordinated move could carry much more weight on the world stage. Earlier this year, Ethiopia made headlines across the Horn of Africa by signing a groundbreaking and controversial agreement with Somaliland. This deal marked the first time a major African nation openly considered recognizing Somaliland's independence, a move that could reshape regional politics. Under the agreement, Ethiopia would lease a section of the strategic Berbera Port for its navy, giving the landlocked country long-sought access to the Red Sea. In return, Ethiopia hinted at the possibility of formally recognizing Somaliland as an independent state, something no other country has done so far. The reaction from Somalia's federal government was swift and fierce. Somalia considers Somaliland an integral part of its territory and condemned the deal as a violation of its sovereignty. Somali officials called for international support to block the agreement, warning it could destabilize the fragile region. Ethiopia's move is both historic and risky. On one hand, It could open new economic opportunities and strengthen Ethiopia's security by providing naval access. On the other, recognizing Somaliland without broader international backing could isolate Ethiopia diplomatically, provoke backlash from Somalia and the African Union, and even spark wider regional tensions. The world is now watching to see if this bold gamble will pay off or backfire. Ethiopia's bold step to engage with Somaliland has thrust the region back into the global spotlight, reigniting debates about borders, sovereignty, and international law. This move has made the question of Somaliland's recognition more urgent, but also far more sensitive on the world stage. For some African and international players, Ethiopia's involvement is a signal to accelerate their own engagement, fearing they might lose influence or economic opportunities if Somaliland gains official status. These countries see the potential for new trade routes, security partnerships, and a strategic foothold in the Horn of Africa. And they don't want to be left behind if Somaliland is recognized. But for others, especially those with close ties to Somalia or concerns about separatist movements in their own countries, Ethiopia's move creates serious diplomatic tension. They worry that recognizing Somaliland could set a precedent, encouraging other breakaway regions around the world and destabilizing fragile borders. If the United States were to recognize Somaliland, the impact would be enormous. Such a move could open the diplomatic floodgates, making it much easier for other countries to follow suit without fear of isolation or backlash. Major powers like the United Kingdom and Kenya, as well as European Union members, would have political cover to recognize Somaliland, reshaping alliances and trade in the region. Even some Arab states who have traditionally supported Somalia's territorial integrity might reconsider their stance if the global tide shifts, especially if economic or security interests are at stake. In short, Ethiopia's move has set off a chain reaction, with the potential to redraw the map of the Horn of Africa and reshape international relations far beyond the region. Somaliland now stands at a pivotal crossroads in its history. After decades of self-declared independence, it faces a rare moment where global attention and diplomatic momentum could finally shift in its favor. The convergence of Donald Trump's bold proposal, renewed interest from the United Kingdom, and growing international debate has created a unique window of opportunity for Somaliland. Ethiopia's recent move to recognize Somaliland adds further momentum, but also brings new diplomatic challenges, especially with neighboring Somalia and the African Union, who have long resisted Somaliland's claims. To achieve full international recognition, Somaliland must navigate a complex web of regional politics, build strong alliances with influential nations, and convince skeptical organizations like the African Union and United Nations of its case. This will require not just careful diplomacy, but also demonstrating political stability, economic potential, and a commitment to peaceful relations with its neighbors. Turning these political opportunities into lasting agreements is crucial for Somaliland's future. The stakes are high. Recognition could unlock international aid, investment, and security partnerships. But failure could mean continued isolation. One thing is certain: the world is watching Somaliland more closely than ever before, and what happens next could reshape the Horn of Africa. As we stand at this pivotal moment, the world is watching Somaliland with anticipation. Trump's proposed deal could mark a historic turning point, potentially granting Somaliland the recognition it has sought for decades and reshaping the political landscape of the Horn of Africa. Yet, uncertainty looms large. Political tensions, both within the region and on the global stage, threaten to stall progress and keep Somaliland's future in limbo for years to come. The stakes are high and the outcome is far from certain. What do you think? Could this be the breakthrough moment, or will history repeat itself with more delays and setbacks? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your perspective matters. Remember, the story of Somaliland is still being written. The decisions made today could echo for generations, shaping not just one nation, but the entire region. Stay tuned, because history in the Horn of Africa is unfolding right before our eyes. Don't miss out. Share and subscribe for more untold history of Somaliland and Horn Africa's country. Join the journey and be part of history in the making.